Alright, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about 3 simple, easy tools to catch coyotes and or foxes at a fence line. It also applies to like chicken coops or maybe like the edge of a barn. Basically anywhere where a predator is digging to get under to get towards livestock. So here's our fence line. This area here was a spot coyotes got in last winter, and so I'm just using this to show you what I did. So the 3 tools. First, so we're trapping them. I like using traps to catch predators versus guard dogs, mainly because I don't have a large area and I don't have a lot of animals, so it's not really cost effective. Steel traps, I don't have to feed, and for me in my area I have like about a 2 to 3 month window where I really have predation issues. It's just like the basically winter time, fall, winter. So I catch about 5 or 6 coyotes and then 2 foxes every winter. So then I put up my traps and I don't have to do anything with them again until next winter. So this is what I do. The coyotes will come, they'll dig, and also the reason why I'm showing you these 3 methods is depending on your regulations. Every state's different, every country's different. So here's 3 different tools you can use. Check your regulations. You should be able to use at least one of these, if not all 3. So this here is a conibear. This is a 330. This works pretty good for coyotes. If you have a fox issue, you can drop down to like a 220. You're gonna in this method, normally a 330 would be used. There's 2 wires here that dangle down, and that's the trigger. Normally you would have the triggers at the top, but in this case we're going to use the triggers at the bottom, and we're going to slide the fence line in between these 2 bars. And this is an older trap, it's a bit rusty, so my hands are all dirty, but essentially might have to dig out a little bit. And what this does is conibears are a really good kill trap. So what'll happen is coyote will come, obviously on the outside of the fence. He'll see. Now this is also all in response to them. You want the coyote or the animal to already dig a hole. Maybe he messed with the sheep. Maybe they've already killed an animal. But you've located their dig under. And so they've picked this spot. Out of the whole fence line, they determined this was the safest spot for them to trespass onto your property. So when you set the trap here, you have a higher likelihood that they're going to return to this spot to trespass again. So it cuts out a lot of guesswork of where do you place the trap. So they come back through. They fire the trigger when they crawl under, and with it being a smaller hole, it forces them. What you can do, depending on how big they've dug, is you can put blocking sticks to force them through the hole. But they're going to put their head through first, and their paws, and it's going to trigger. The trigger, it fires, the bars come down, and it breaks their neck. Very quick, very painless, very simple. I don't have a really big stick to use, or else I'd show you firing it off. But trust me, it works. I've done it. Next is a snare. Now, the one thing about a snare that I like is they're generally pretty cheap. They're like $1.50, $2 a piece. You can buy them in bulk. They're mostly one-time use type deals. What you would do is you're essentially going to create a hole, a loop, or it already has a loop. You're going to open the loop big enough for the intended animal. If it's a coyote, or if you'll scale it down for a fox, depending. There again, you would put a couple sticks in there to force them through. And then what you're going to do is on the other end, you're going to attach this, and you're going to attach it to a post or the fence line. And the same thing happens. They crawl through. They get the noose caught around their neck. And these things are a one-way deal. Once it's tightened, it locks, and they can't get out. Now these do have a deal you can manually do it, but there's no way a coyote's going to be able to release the lock. So what I like with these, with the lock type, is you can reuse them a couple times, but if they put a lot of kinks in the wire, the more kinks in the wire, the less chances are you're going to be able to reuse the snare. But it's a really cheap, effective way. And another thing what you could do is, if you see like a trail leading up to the fence line, is you could then actually snare the trail. Or if maybe they took a bird and they made a trail in through the tall grass out to wherever, back home, you could actually snare that trail line, because that's their preferred method, to and from this location. So you actually could snare out in the field or what have you, as long as you have permission, of course. So snares and conibears are two of the options. The last one is a foothold trap. Now this one is going to be slightly different. There's a couple ways you can do this. One is, what I like to do is you're going to firmly put the trap inside the area, and you're going to cover it with the dirt. You're going to cover it completely with dirt. I'm not going to do all of it, but let's say we're going to do a little bit like this and start blending it in. And if you use dirt back to the ground level, a coyote just assumes that you notice the hole and filled it back in. So the coyote, loose soil is a lot easier to dig than hard pack dirt. So he's going to come back, one, because it's his preferred method of trespassing. He's already determined it's the safest spot, and he's used to it, using it. But two, because it's loose dirt, it's going to be easier for him to still get back in. It's less work. So if you have the trap in the ground, and there again, you're going to have to anchor it to a post, because if he gets caught, obviously, you don't want him running off into the woods or whatever with a trap on his foot. So you do want either a sturdy cable or a length of chain, and have it firmly attached to a T-post or 4x4 post or something, or a stake in the ground, what have you. So this is like a really great way to catch them with the footholds. There again, if you do see a trail leading up, you can do foothold traps. if you have permission or if it's still on your land. You can see the trail, if you can see the trail that they've created, or the the feather trail. You can throw footholds along the way, and you might be able to get them. But I really like this because it funnels them. They can travel anywhere, and for whatever reason they prefer to access this one point, so you're funneling them to an area where you can catch them. My personal thoughts on the traps is, if legal, the conibear and the snare are going to be a little bit more humane because they're a quick kill. The conibear is the quickest because it's just going to break their neck. The snare is it's pretty fast, but still it's asphyxiation, cuts off the air supply, so it is going to be a slightly bit slower, but still fairly fast. And in the foothold, you're going to catch them. Now these, nowadays, these traps, got a bone piece out here. Let me see. Yeah, it's an old brittle one. But believe me when I say, especially with these offsets, it's not going to break their leg. It is very, how do I say this? It's not, it doesn't hurt them when they get caught. It's more the surprise, and then from there, they're just going to be sitting around here in a perimeter of the circle. They're just going to be sitting around somewhere waiting for you, and then you're going to dispatch them, shoot them. Do not, whatever you do not put them in a dog crate and take them somewhere else. It causes lots of, first off, most states it's illegal, but second of all, it's going to be very traumatic for the coyote, because he's going to be a whole new territory, some other group's coyote, somebody else's territory, caught getting some fights. It's going to be a whole huge mess. So it's better to just do the right thing and dispatch them where you get them. So those are my thoughts. Conibear, snare, foothold trap. It's a great location because they've already chose it. You funnel them in. There's no really guesswork. And what's great about the traps too is it's on their time schedule. So if they've eaten something, if they stole something off your farm and they eat it, well, the next time they're hungry, they'll come back, obviously. But it could be a day, it could be a couple days. So you have no idea. So it doesn't make sense to go, hide with a rifle all night long for a couple nights waiting for them to return. You can just set it and forget it. Just check it every day, and you're good to go. So generally, this is going to work primarily for coyotes and foxes. They work fairly similar. Most coons aren't really going to dig too much, although it's possible. Yeah, so it's mainly just the canine species. But it's a really great thing. I like it. I've used it for the last 6 years, and it's worked pretty well for me. So hope this helps you guys. If you have any questions or comments, comment down below, and I'll try my hardest to reply back as soon as I can. Thanks again.